In a move that even I didn't see coming, Formlabs has acquired Micronics. They were supposed to be the final frontier for affordable SLS. What's going to happen now? Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here and you're looking for information about the acquisition of Micronics by Formlabs, well, you've come to the right place. Spent way too much time digging into this, trying to understand why Formlabs did this, trying to read the situations, talk to people involved, and if that's your kind of thing and you'd like hearing news like this being reported, make sure to leave a like, and hey, drop a sub on there while you're at it. Doesn't cost you a dime. It helps the channel grow. But this is one of those announcements that, from a business standpoint, dude, they're in their mid-20s and they just had a successful exit from a company. And I recognize that that term might make you a little bit grumpy because it's a weird term and it's a very business-focused term. But it's the term that we use, right? The team at Micronics got money, and now they're no longer part of Micronics. They're part of Formlabs. And in fact, Henry, Luke, and I assume the rest of the Micronics team are moving out to Boston. And that means that they are going to be working alongside of Formlabs for the next generation of SLS printers. Certainly, this is a big upset for the, let's go with affordable SLS 3D printing market. Micronics is a company that wants to bring to market a affordable SLS printer and kickstarted it. And with over $1.3 million worth of backers, they were well on their way to getting funded and, well, trying to make something like this happen. Well, just a couple of days before the Kickstarter itself finished, Micronics was acquired by Formlabs. Suffice to say, things got a little rocky as far as Micronics' public opinion. But before we dig into the actual opinion, I want to talk about the machine itself. It uses a 5-watt UV laser with a in-house built galvo or galvanometer. It's a couple of mirrors that move very quickly and very accurately to melt plastic powder, specifically nylon. Now, they were working on a TPU variant, and I actually believe they were using Formlabs powder because Formlabs actually does make a really nice SLS printer, the Fuse 1 Plus, but starting at almost 10x the lowest available cost on Kickstarter for the Micronics printer, you can kind of get an idea as to why people are just a little bit salty. Formlabs uses a, someone's going to correct me if I'm wrong on this, a ytterbium fiber laser to melt the nylon powder, whereas Micronics uses a very small, relatively low-powered 5-watt UV diode, which are considerably more affordable, therefore making one of the more expensive parts of the machine, the actual laser source, come down considerably in cost. And this all started at open source, according to the video from Formlabs themselves, which if you want to see my entire reaction to, that will be available to all of our paid members, where you can join in that description for as little as $1 a month. We'll put it up on all the platforms. So if you want to see my thoughts on this video, because, oh, there's a lot to it, tune in there. And if you do actually want to win some filament, because we're giving away filament, there's going to be a link in the description. It won't be in any pinned comments because this is what's called a call to action. We want to tell you to go check out Printed Solid and the Jesse line of filament. We're going to be giving away some filament. So if you want to enter to win some Jesse filament, you need to fill out the form and you need to leave a comment about what your thoughts are about this acquisition. Do you like it? Do you hate it? And why? You need to have, a decent comment here. Don't just leave me a one-word comment. You're not going to win if you leave a one-word comment. But you could win some free filament. It is shipped completely free in the continental United States. If for some reason you win and you are not in the continental United States, you will get a shirt. We will ship you a shirt when our merch store goes live at the end of the month. So if that's your kind of thing, hey, we'd love to help. And we actually gave away 2 shirts on the last live stream because there were 2 people outside of the United States that actually won, which is super cool. And I love that. We're going to get our merch all over the world. And don't worry, you'll be able to purchase it with discounts coming soon. But go check out Printed Solid, check out the awesome Made in America filament. And by the way, they're going to start producing Prushiment in-house, which could really change the game about getting some awesome filament that is made in the Czech Republic, but also made in America from a company that also makes their own filament. It's going to be awesome filament. This is what you know. And that means we can feed our hungry 3D printers. But let's get back into talking about powder. And those that skipped all of this won't even know there's a giveaway. We were actually one of the first content creators to reach out to Micronics and say, hey, we want to take a look at your printer, because I actually have over a decade of experience running powder-based 3D printers, understanding everything from recoder geometry, powder sifting, and just dealing with contamination within the powder, to post-processing as well, both on laser and non-laser based systems. But my knowledge was not enough because our YouTube channel was not large enough. And because our YouTube channel was not large enough, we were not on that short list of 6 people that got those machines. Now, I know there were 6 machines. I can only think of 4 people that have made videos on it so far. They wanted to get machines out to different types of content creators out there, and well, boy, did they. And unfortunately, at least the ones that I saw, most of them had significant game-breaking problems with their machines. From Joel having some issues that required one-on-one customer support, to Uncle Jesse having massive issues with the cake, which is that powder brick that comes out of the machine, to Scotty from Strange Parts, who has one of the more famous issues with these machines, where so many times he tried and it just wasn't going to work, and he had some issues with the Micronics team themselves and their, well, lack of transparency going both ways, if that makes sense. And well, that's a bit of a bummer, right? We want people to have good experiences, but I want you guys to remember, this is a printer developed in about 3 years in a small office plus a apartment bedroom of a couple of mid-20-year-olds that just graduated from college. The fact that it even mildly works is nothing short of a miracle. And as Max himself talks about in the video,
I think in our first conversation, it was pretty clear to me that these guys are the real deal, very talented at engineering and building great products, and I would love to find a way to work with them. Getting an SLS machine like printing at all with a small team and small resources, that is very impressive. I mean, basically, nobody has gone from sort of zero to a working polymer powder bed system with as little time and money as you guys have.
They did it faster, more affordably, and in a smaller form factor than anybody else. So what does this acquisition mean? Well, it means that Formlabs has bought the entirety of Micronics. Its intellectual property, likely all the remaining machines that they have in inventory, parts, hardware, software, and they also got the team. These buyouts are normally done in a cash plus shares kind of deal. And the shares have a vesting schedule where the shares in Formlabs would take a certain amount of time to mature. And theoretically, they would be tied to current and future employment of the Micronics staff within Formlabs, which is good because it effectively ensures that these guys aren't just going to F off and do it all over again, right? The share vesting is a great way to kind of ensure that the IP at least remains in one company for a short amount of time. But that brings up another point entirely, right? The fact that it was a Kickstarter. There was no guarantee of you getting anything. So if you were one of the 431 backers, there was no guarantee of you getting anything. Even the t-shirt people technically had no guarantee of getting anything. And while, yes, those of you that had money on hold at the bank for a while, you can be a little frustrated, but no money ever left your pocket, and you're getting something out of the deal. You're getting a $1,000 coupon to Formlabs and an open material license. And while I care not to get into the specifics as to why I kind of dislike the fact that they're selling an open materials license, it's because of profit. It is something that you weren't going to get otherwise, so you might as well have it. The one thing I would like to see is those that aren't going to use it could be able to assign it to a either nonprofit or school local to them that would like to utilize that coupon and that open material system, because, hey, that's nonprofit and education. They should get that benefit for no additional cost. So where does this leave us, right? Well, it leaves a lot of people pissed off. And we can see that there's a lot of questions going around about how much should Formlabs pay for Micronics. Well, it's not public, so you won't ever know. But I think this post by Ghost of Winter 88, which we will link to in the description if you want to read the whole thing, is really, really valuable and completely aligns with where I'm at. Formlabs got the deal of the century. No matter how much they paid, they got the deal of the century. Micronics pose the biggest risk to Formlabs should Micronics actually get to market. And if Micronics actually got to market, their price would have added a 0. But see, that getting to the market problem is where Micronics had the highest probability of failure. It's no offense to the team, it's no offense to Henry or Luke or anyone on Micronics, but they're young, they're inexperienced, and getting to market is an absolute bear. Just dealing with regulation and regulatory things of getting into the EU, the UK, the US, it all sucks. And it means that a machine like this, in my opinion, had less than a 40% chance of actually getting to market. And I know I'm not alone in this thought. In fact, a lot of the other professionals in this industry that I talked to shared similar thoughts. We all believe it is super cool. We want to support this as much as possible. And a lot of us gave them free time on screen for no money, right? Anytime I've ever talked about Micronics, I've done it for no cash. But it's still something that I wanted to do because I believe in them. I still believe in them. Something to note, though.
I think it's really similar to how it went with Formlabs and the Form 1. With the Form 1, we laid out a concept for a product, a new class of product that got people really excited. We sold a bunch of them, but we didn't deliver fully on that concept. A bunch of people got the printer, a bunch of people used it, but it wasn't as great as it could have been. And it took us to Form 2, the second generation, to really incorporate everything that we had imagined should be in a product. So the way I think about it is we're helping Micronics skip the first version and go straight to the second version even faster than if you would have had to do it sequentially.
The first Formlabs 3D printer was cheap. It's like $1,000, right? The Form 1. The Form 2 more than doubled that. And I would say that the days of the sub $5,000 SLS printer from a company run by a couple of 20-year-olds is over. But I might argue that that's not a bad thing. As Henry pointed out in the Formlabs video,
what Luke and I really like doing and is somewhat good at doing is solving really high-level complex problems. But what we're actually doing is spending like 60% of our time replying to support emails from the 20,000 subscribers we have on YouTube, cutting up stupid foam packaging. That took us 8 hours to cut up all the foams for the machines we shipped out to content creators.
They spent a bunch of time just dealing with the minutia. They were working in their business versus on their business. It's a problem that solopreneurs, or at least smaller companies, deal with, where we, talking about myself too, spend a lot of time dealing with the day-to-day BS, and we don't spend enough time growing our businesses because we're stuck in the day-to-day BS. And that can drag you down. And it's why a lot of 3D printing Kickstarters, the actual Kickstarters, not companies that use Kickstarter for marketing, that's a whole different thing, different video, different day. That's why a lot of the traditional 3D printing Kickstarters fail. Because understanding how much it actually takes to go to market is very different versus what you actually believe it is. And well, it's been wrought with some claims of a rug pull, that Formlabs is going to just shelve Micronics and we're never going to see a machine like that from Luke or Henry, and that they're just going to end up going somewhere in Formlabs never to be seen of again. And well, Max decided to publicly comment on this. 1. I guess buying a competitor to kill the competition might work in some industries, but not in 3D printing. I completely disagree with you, Max. Look at 3D Systems, look at Stratasys, look at the big players in this industry. I understand you might disagree with that as far as Formlabs is concerned, but buying a competitor to kill competition totally works in this industry, has been done plenty of times, for whatever that might be worth to you. There are hundreds of companies and new ones started every week. Yeah, that's the great thing about this industry. There will be new players doing something similar very soon, and I highly expect them to be coming out of China. It's just the way it's going to be. We've got dozens of companies delivering printers in volume today that we compete with. Why go after one specific one that hasn't even shipped a printer? Well, to be fair, Max, these ones pose the biggest risk that I'm aware of to the Fuse 1 Plus, so it kind of just made sense. Building the best product is the only way to win and is 100% of our focus. We bought Micronics because they are very talented and will help us build great products. That I do not doubt. I firmly believe that Formlabs bought Micronics to also pick up the team at Micronics. They are incredibly intelligent and develop something that pretty much nobody else has done in a meaningful way, especially when you look at 2 recent graduates of college. What were you doing at 23? Because certainly I wasn't building a multi-million-dollar company that gets bought out by one of the biggest players in affordable SLS technology on the planet. So, hats off there, team. Good job, Micronics, and also good job, Formlabs. We made a 5 to 10x jump in SLS printer prices with the Fuse 1, similar to what we did with SLA in the Form 1. It is our mission to make powerful technology more accessible. We love to see Micronics attempting to take it another 5x further. I firmly believe instead of jump, he actually means drop in price, but fine. And great to see people doing it in SLA as well. Currently, we are focused primarily on professional users. Exactly. They don't want end users. End users are a pain in the butt. They want businesses. They want small businesses like a 3D Musketeers that would want to invest in a technology rather than just get a printer. There's a difference there. It's specific, but there's a difference. But we generally have the lowest printer prices amongst our direct competitors. Yep, when you compare them to EOS and the big players out there, yeah, they're like a third of the price of EOS's most affordable machine. But that doesn't mean that at 30 grand plus that the Fuse 1 Plus is actually affordable to the end user. And while yes, they did drop SLS pricing considerably with the Fuse 1, they also raised the price of the Fuse 1. We at 3D Musketeers had a deposit on a Fuse 1 because when they first announced it, it was $10,000. Then the price went up, and the price went up again, and after the second price increase, we were out because it became too expensive for us to bring it in-house. Do I regret that? I don't know. Back then, we were running a lot more powder printers. We had dedicated space for powder printing. We still have some dedicated space for powder printing, but it's nowhere near the size that it was at the old shop. 3, maybe it's the best because Micronics might have failed in delivering. These guys are amazing and would have definitely delivered a product. How long it would take to evolve into a very successful product in business is another question, but I'm certain that they would not have walked away without delivering something decent. There is a risk, right? Once that Kickstarter ended and they took the money, that's it. It's over. If Micronics says, yep, we can't do it, sorry, thanks for the cash, see you later, there's nothing you can do to stop them. And as a consumer, you might say, this sucks, I hate Micronics, I hate Henry, I hate Luke. Don't. You're upset because you're missing out on something that you never had, that you wanted, but you never had. You should be happy for these guys because, again, at 23, they had a successful exit, and they sold to one of the best companies in accessible SLS on the market. Now, I will say, Formlabs, if you're watching, I hope you are, you gotta make some tips of the hat to the Micronics team in the next line of Fuse printers. So maybe a Fuse Micron, or, you hide a little Micronics logo in there or something. Just as a little tip of the hat. I think it would be cool. It's not necessary, but it would be cool because I think there's a lot of people that have their eye on Micronics. So where exactly does this leave Micronics? Well, Micronics, as a lot of you knew it, is gone, and it's never coming back. There are kind of startups, if you will, spanning from this. Of course, SLS for All has been around for a while, and that's going to be something where we are hoping to actually build an SLS for All printer. That has been in my things that I want to do video list since before we started the channel. But there are other people that are saying, well, we can be the next Micronics. And for those of you that are doing that, I wish you nothing but the best. And if you want any help from someone that has experience running both laser and non-laser based powder 3D printing, hi, I'm more than happy to volunteer my experience to help you. To some extent, then I might want some money. But the way that I see it, if we see something with Micronics remotely attached to it from Formlabs, I would expect it to be around the $6,000 to $10,000 mark at a minimum, probably closer to the $10,000 to $15,000 mark. And while, yes, that still makes SLS quite accessible, it is considerably more expensive than what we saw from Micronics originally, which was that $4,500 price point, which I still do not believe is actually reasonable. So there's something to be said there too. I believe that the $7,000 to $10,000 is a much more reasonable price point and comes with actual accessories that aren't 3D printed or, thin roto molding. They're proper accessories. Because if there's one thing Formlabs does right, it's that full integration. Like the Fuse Sift and the Fuse Blast are some of the best integrations as far as SLS is concerned, in my opinion. I think Formlabs does a great thing with it. But if you look, it's actually about 54 grand. And we can see that powder for it's not cheap either. 6 kilos is $600, so it's $100 a kilo. A far and away number from your $20 a kilo spools of filament. And while, yes, you can get nylon 12 from other people for considerably less, you also have to buy considerably more. And as you can see, they recommend at least 12 kilos to start, 24 to ramp up, and 60 for high throughput, because you have to always mix in stuff. I do have faith here that we're going to see something come out of Formlabs with Micronics as an undertone. But I will say that I am really happy. From a business standpoint, I'm very happy for Henry, Luke, the entire Micronics team, Max, and the entire team over at Formlabs. I'm incredibly happy for them. I think they bought what could likely have been their biggest competitor for pennies on the dollar. So congratulations, Formlabs. I think you made the acquisition of the year. And it's funny because it's probably one of the smaller acquisitions as far as acquisitions go in this industry. But I think you made the right strategic choice. And good on you for bringing the Micronics guys on and not just simply buying their IP, giving them money and telling them to go away. I hope that that was something that was negotiated immediately, something that was brought to the table immediately and didn't have to somehow be added in later. But me personally, I'm a little bummed. I would have loved to see this printer come out. It's like you're always rooting for the underdog. And these guys were exactly what a Kickstarter should have been. And so there was part of me that really wanted to see this go through, really see them get to market, and really see them succeed. But let's be real. This was the best possible outcome for them. Period. But I'd love to know your thoughts down in those comments below, because I know that some of you are very upset. Some of you are like me. From a business standpoint, you love it, but from a personal standpoint, you're a little bit bummed. But you know what? If nothing else, Micronics, good luck. Formlabs, good luck. You all know how to reach me, and please don't hesitate to call. And hey, good job for actually, hooking up people that believed in you to put money on the line. Even though you're giving them their money back, you're giving them $1,000 plus some extra goodies. So great job. You didn't owe them that at all. Good job on you, Micronics, for making that happen. Want to give a huge thank you to all those names listed right next to me at the $5 tier and higher. Remember, if you do want to support us financially, you could do so via the links in that description down below, because they're pretty awesome. We've had a lot of extensive talks in our Discord, both via text and via live chat, all about the Micronics acquisition, and a lot of it we watched live happen together, where we shared some of those emotions and what it was really like. It was a cool experience, and hey, we'll be doing them for any other acquisition like this in the future as well. And that's at the $10 tier now. You get to come hang out in our private Discord. That is all we have for you all today. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. Click the links below me if you want. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one.